My dear students, hope you all are fit and fine. Today I am going to deal with a short story penned by an agnostic, a historian, a novelist, a short story writer, and a journalist. Who is he? Can you guess? He is none other than Khushbant Singh. Khushbant Singh makes an indelible impression on the domain of Indian English literature with his trenchant secularism and clear-cut thoughts. His penchant for deep-rooted humor makes him unique among the men of eminence. His portrayal of social and behavioral traits of the people of India are pregnant with acid wit. He lays bare many an ulcer hidden under the glossy surface of our society. But he is an ardent admirer of human goodness with a devil-may-care attitude. A man of strict discipline, Khushbant Singh used to get up at 4 p.m. every day and pen down what stored in his mind. Barring his strong devotion, egregious passion, unflinching determination, perseverance, he could not neither find a room among millions of Indians nor create such a large volume of books for his readers. The present text, Karma, was published in 1989 as a short story in the anthology called The Collected Stories. Since the setting of the story is pre-independence India, the story might have been written earlier. The word karma originated from Sanskrit denotes destiny. Karma is a Hindu theological idea. It is a doctrine that one's present actions continue to have effects in another incarnation. Anyway, the short story is devoid of any religious fervor. This short story espouses, spotlights, highlights the identity crisis of a person who, under the impact of colonialism, goes on imitating and practicing the Western lifestyle, manners, and customs in his life. This person is Sir Mohanlal, who adores anglicized manners and rejects everything Indian. He even neglects his own wife, who hails from rural India. Sir Mohanlal is an exact representation of colonial modernity. You may say Sir Mohanlal is the incarnation of colonial modernity. It is his pride which brings about his nemesis, or you may say downfall. Okay. Let's read the text. Sir Mohanlal looked at himself in the mirror of a first-class waiting room at the railway station. The mirror was obviously made in India. The red oxide at its back had come off at several places, and long lines of translucent glass cut across its surface. Translucent means admitting light but not transparent or opaque, or you may say slightly transparent. And red oxide, here red oxide is red oxide and iron or ferric oxide. Here red oxide suggests iron or ferric oxide. Iron or ferric oxide, an inorganic compound used as a coating in a mirror and other industrial purpose. Okay. And Sir Mohan smiled at the mirror with an air of pity and patronage. Pity means sympathy and patronage means superiority. An air of pity and patronage here suggest mixed feelings of inferiority and superiority. Sir Mohan smiled at the mirror with an air of pity and patronage. Here is an imaginary personification of the mirror and its speech to describe the Englishness of Sir Mohanlal's appearance and attitude. Actually, this passage suggests or describes that a first class waiting room at the railway station. This passage chalks out at first a first class waiting room at the railway station, and Sir Mohanlal was found standing before a mirror. The mirror was dirty and partly broken. He smiled pitifully, observing the poor condition of the mirror. Now look at the text. You are so very much like everything else in this country. Inefficient, dirty, indifferent, he murmured. The mirror smiled back at Sir Mohan. Sir Mohan murmured to himself at the plight of everything in India. But the mirror smiled back at Sir Mohan. But however, the mirror seemed to welcome him. Sir Mohan murmured to himself at the plight of everything in India, but the mirror seemed to welcome him. Look at the text. You are a bit of all right, old chap, it said, distinguished efficient, even handsome. The line indirectly chalks out the self-love of Sir Mohan. It discloses his hypocrisy. It also shows that he is snobbish and proud. Now look at the text. That neatly trimmed moustache, the suit from Savile Row with the carnation in the buttonhole, the aroma of eau de cologne, talcum powder, and scented soap all about you. Yes, old fellow, you are a bit of all right. What does this passage describe? His moustache, Sir Mohanlal's moustache was neatly trimmed. He wore a suit bought from Savile Row with carnation in the buttonhole. He used an expensive perfume and fragrant talcum powder and soap. He liked to imitate British manners in every sphere of life. Outwardly, he was akin to an Englishman. To be a bit of all right, he shunned every bit of Indianness in his dress and etiquette. Actually, Sir Mohan was pompous in his attire. He tried in vain to impose his presence by blindly imitating the British ways of life. The conversation reveals him as a fop. Understood? Now, look at the text. Sir Mohan, here, Savile Row, a street in Mayfair, central London, known particularly for its traditional tailoring for men, and from late 18th century Savile Row tailors became famous in men's fashion statement. Carnation. The word carnation. Carnation is a small flower having various colors. It belongs to the Dianthus family. Carnation are worn all over Europe for many centuries as a part of dressing item. Eau de cologne. Eau de cologne literally meaning water from Cologne is a perfume which originated in Cologne, Germany. Talcum powder. Talcum is a clay mineral containing magnesium used for making body and cosmetic powder. And understood? Okay. Now, look at the text. Sir Mohan threw out his chest, smoothed his balliol tie, for umpteenth time and waved a goodbye to the mirror. He glanced at his watch. There was still time for a quick one. Sir Mohan threw out his chest, smoothed his balliol tie for a umpteenth time. Umpteenth means many. Umpteens, many times. Sir Mohan smoothed his tie and bade goodbye to the mirror and then glanced at the watch to see whether there was a time for a quick sip of the wine. Whether there was a time for a quick sip of the wine. Here, Balliol tie, short for Balliol College, Oxford, where Sir Mohanlal was educated. Actually, the train was yet to arrive. Sir Mohan ordered the bearer for a small peg of whiskey. कोई है, a bearer in white livery. Livery means an uniform worn by a servant. Appeared through a wire gauze door. Gauze means a thin transparent fabric. Thin transparent fabric. The train was yet to arrive. Sir Mohan ordered the bearer for a small peg of whiskey. The bearer appeared in white dress. Ek chota, ordered Sir Mohan. Ek chota signifies a small peg of whiskey that can be consumed with a short period of time. Ek chota, ordered Sir Mohan, and sank into a large cane chair to drink and ruminate. Ruminate means to think of past. To think of past. Sitting on a large cane chair, Sir Mohan started to ruminate. Actually, Sir Mohan was fond of Scotch whiskey. As the train was yet to arrive, he wanted to have a small peg of wine. And this had a twofold purposes. First, he wanted to enjoy his favorite drink, and secondly, he wanted to ruminate over his much cherished days in England in a relaxed mood. Outside, look at the text. Outside the waiting room, Sir Mohanlal's luggage lay piled along the wall. On a small grey steel trunk, Lakshmi, Lady Mohanlal, sat chewing a betel leaf and fanning herself with a newspaper. On the other, Lakshmi, Sir Mohan's wife, sat on a grey steel trunk outside the waiting room. She was chewing a betel leaf and fanning herself with a newspaper. Understood? Okay.